Hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Fun Fans Podcast. I'm your host, James Dillard. With me, as always, my co-host, Bailey Jackson. How you doing, Bailey?
Just real quick, you might want to kill the music. Not that I don't enjoy the music, it's just harder to hear you right now.
Yeah. All right, music is down, and we are trying to stream for the first time on Instagram. And I'm also supposed to go click something on Instagram, and I don't see what I'm supposed to click. So that might just be a thing that ain't gonna happen for this particular event, and that'll just have to be okay. So anyway, with me as always, I've already said that part. Bailey Jackson. Tell me again how you doing, Bailey.
I'm great, James. I am in
Hey,
a balmy 59-degree Orlando, Florida right now.
hey, well, I'm in Chester, CHSTR Chester, and look who's in the background. Can you tell? Can you tell who that is? About 26 years ago, the lovely wife.
That's
Look at,
Melly Mel.
yeah, looking over my shoulder. And that's all right because it's going to be a great show tonight. This is the Fun Fans Bowl Special, the 2023 version, of course. We're going to tell you everything you need to know about bowl games coming up this season. I think this is Bailey's favorite show.
No
He's
doubt.
definitely he's definitely all over the best tasting bowls, and of course we'll update you on Clemson basketball and the such. But first, the Fun Fans are a proud part of the Fanboys Fangirls Sports Podcasting Network. If you're a true sports fan, the Fanboys Fangirls is perfect for you. Find various nationwide podcasts and other sports media at thefanboys.com and on all forms of social media. But where do we eat, Bailey?
We eat at Reuben's Food, Sports, Spirits, and Catering, the best wings around, with two locations to serve you in the upstate: 1083 Batesville Road in Greer and 11028 Anderson Road in Piedmont. James just popped up the website. It's RubensC.com. And Rubens is simply a great place to eat for all sports fans. And I wish that this hotel that I'm in had a Rubens. They have 5 other restaurants, but no Rubens because the prices are ridiculous.
It's a little bit up there. Well,
Yes.
So anyway, we will get to more of the travel stuff later. The first segment of the show was supposed to be the top 5 Fun Fan halftime shows. And we talked about here how we are diligent with our research regularly, right, Bailey? We're
Correct.
diligent with our research.
Been working on this all day.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I could not find anywhere any bowl game, including the national championship game, that had announced their halftime performances. And
What?
that is not fun. There's no fun in that. I even enlisted a professional researcher slash school librarian, and she came up with the same result. But you know what we did find?
We can rate them when they're over. We can go back and um, rate each halftime show.
That might be what we need to do.
Yeah.
But we did find one interesting tidbit of information that just has to be shared on the podcast. And you may be aware of this, Bailey, but you hadn't mentioned it to me. Did you know that the Bahamas Bowl got moved to Charlotte?
I did. And
That
I can
that
tell you why.
well, there's something about the stadium was under
They're
construction.
renovating the track stadium that they play in the Bahamas.
Well, there goes all the fun. Not that you
Well,
can't have a good time in Charlotte, but compared to the Bahamas, uh,
and it's at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte.
yeah, it's not even in like Panther Stadium or anything.
And I mean, I have a little bit more info on that later with the new sponsor in the Charlotte area.
Cool. All right, so Bailey's saving something for us for that one, and so we're going to get to our. We'll rank the halftime shows then after the bowl games are over. That's a very good idea. So we move on to our second segment. This is a very important segment. Everybody does a pick 'em. Well, Bailey and I are going to pick it's the mascot matchup. Okay, so who would win, and I guess we need to decide. Are we talking about one mascot versus a singular mascot versus the other, right?
Yeah, I have some questions,
All right,
but
let's just bring up the first one, the Rose Bowl.
okay.
Rose Bowl. Wolverine versus Crimson Tide. Now there's all kind of questions about this.
Yeah. So what
Is
is a
is it the
Crimson
elephant?
Tide? It's just it's like a wave of crimson colored jerseys, or is it an elephant? Because they don't. I don't think they know.
Well, in the
Um,
Wolverine, of course, is it the team of teenagers from the movie Red? Is it Red Dawn Wolverine, or is it the animal Wolverine?
it's the animal.
Okay, so we're gonna go with the animal Wolverine versus just a wave of red,
Let's think. Let's do the elephant.
the elephant. So an animal Wolverine versus an elephant. I'm gonna go with an elephant on that one then.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So elephant over the Wolverine in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Sugar Bowl, a husky versus a longhorn.
A Longhorn's taking that one. Huskies are not great, huge dogs, and if there's only one of them, um, then the Longhorn would take it if they decided to.
Not so fast, my friend. I'm gonna go with the husky. They're faster, they're quicker. I think longhorn would just be lucky to kind of get a
Okay,
horn on there maybe. But anyway, it's interesting
we can
enough.
disagree.
The Orange Bowl, a
Well,
bulldog versus a
Melanie Dillard says she's taking the Wolverine.
well, she likes Red Dawn. She's
Yeah.
the 80s movies. All right, so what about a bulldog versus a Seminole?
Seminole on a horse with a spear
They've got the spear. It's like an advantage. That's exactly what I was thinking on that one.
coming right into your living room.
Don't tell PETA. Poor bulldog don't stand a chance.
Nope.
All right, the Fiesta Bowl is a
Mm.
flame or some flames versus a duck.
Fire.
You don't go with the fire.
Mm.
I think that, I mean, they lose if they just leave. I think the duck would just retreat. So that's a loss for the duck, which is a
James, I'm
win
gonna
for
be
the.
honest. Melanie's very active tonight on social media.
That's good.
Keep them
We need,
rolling, Melanie.
yeah. So that's what we're not maybe not streaming in all 6 locations, but streaming in the 5 out of the 6 is even better.
Yep.
All right, the Birmingham Bowl, a Trojan versus a Blue Devil. So
Does the
an
devil
ancient
have
warrior.
mystical powers?
That's an ancient warrior. Which one has mystical powers?
I don't know. Does a blue devil? Does he have like a flaming? What's that thing called?
The trident,
Yes, I saw enough of them at Duke this
like a
year in
pitchfork.
football. Yeah.
But a Trojan, I mean, they're a Trojan is a very fierce warrior. But I guess the
Melanie
devil.
says Trojan, so
So does that? Well, we pretty much disagreed on every one of them when we talked about this before the show. So that means I have to go with the Blue Devil. What are you going with, Bailey?
I'll go with the Trojan.
Okay,
Trojan's on a horse or in a carriot, a chariot,
Chariot. Yeah,
and comes in there. And woof,
or the sword.
he's
Yeah,
on the move. Yeah.
yeah. Poor Blue Devil. All right, here a
The
Tiger
next one's easy.
Music City Bowl. What's so easy? A tiger versus a terrapin?
A tiger. It's a
Okay, well, see
tiger.
the terrapin can retreat into that. I'm thinking a draw. It'll just retreat into that shell. You can't get through the shell.
Are we fighting or are we just sitting there? That's the
They're
question.
going to be sitting there forever. That's why I'm saying it's a draw. That was going
This
into overtime.
particular segment could win some type of award. Okay.
Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl, a Rocket versus a Cowboy.
Rocket.
I mean, how can a Cowboy? They wouldn't know what a rocket
I'd
was.
take a bottle rocket versus a cowboy.
Well, don't tell John Wayne because the famous scene where he rides that rocket into. I don't know what he does with that. I just know it's a famous scene, but I'm gonna go with the rocket as well. Not sure many Cowboys would know what to do if they saw a rocket. All right, here we go.
Yep.
The AutoZone Liberty Bowl, a Tiger versus a Cyclone. I'm in Cyclone country right now.
Natural disaster. Okay,
you can't beat a Cyclone.
Not living through that.
Old Tiger. Okay, the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl, a Scarlet Knight versus a Hurricane. And once again, are we going with the stork that Miami uses, or we're going to go with the actual
like what category hurricane?
Category 5 category.
Scarlet Knights don't have a chance then if it's category 5.
And they're weighted down though in the armor. That wouldn't help them.
I mean, you said category 5, which there have only been like a handful of those ever.
So if it floods, they're gonna drown. There's no way you swim in
Well,
your Knights
no,
outfit.
it's a
Okay, so there's
catch
one
twenty
for the
two.
Hurricanes. And then the grand finale, of course, the Gator Bowl. We all know who's going to win this one: a Tiger versus a Wildcat.
Tigers.
It's over for the Wildcat.
It's a big cat versus a little cat.
Don't even try it, Kentucky. Bring the mascot. Okay.
Well, that
All
was
right.
fun, and I'm
Yeah.
tired, so I could use a little bit of Dubby right now. Some all natural energy. Appreciate them. You can check them out at dubby.gg, and don't forget to mention the promo code FUNFANS for 10% off. And I actually filled my card up the other day, and can't wait to get the Dubby.
All right. Very good. All right. So
Now,
Bailey has the next segment. You're in charge.
hold on tight, everybody.
Hold what you got.
Because last week you wanted some information on how the bowls were started and how we got to where we are now. All right.
Okay.
So you're talking to a former history teacher. All right. So I like this kind of stuff. All right. The first bowl was played in 1902, January 1st, 1902. It was known as the East-West Shrine Game, where a bunch of schools actually turned down the invitation because of the cost of getting from the East Coast to the West Coast. The idea was to play a West Coast team versus an East Coast team. All right. So, but it took place, and it's why the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, it wasn't originally played in the Rose Bowl because that stadium was not built until the 40s or 50s, but it was played in California, and it's called the granddaddy of them all. Mm-hmm. Now, for several years, that was the only bowl game. Okay. Then in the 1920s, there were some bowls that tried to make it, and they would go for a year or two. But back then, people would just say, we're not coming. It costs too much. And then finally in 1934, the Sugar Bowl, 1935, the Sun Bowl, 1936, the Cotton Bowl, 1945, the Gator Bowl, 1946, the Citrus Bowl, 1948, the Camellia Bowl, and 1959, the Liberty Bowl. Those are all bowls that are still around today in some form. All right. In 1973, which was the year of my birth, and that's why I selected 1973 and yours as well, there were 11 bowl games. Okay. Even back in the 40s, the Maine coach, the University of Maine, I know this is hard to believe, he was the president of the American Football Coaches Association. He said there were too many bowls, and all bowls were doing was making money or profit for these commercial entities. So he argued that there should be less bowls. In 1940, what year was that? 1940.
Okay, but was there any mention of a playoff? I mean, because they were crowning a national champion this whole time, right?
Right, but it was done by the AP poll. I'll take questions afterwards.
Okay.
All right. In 1980, there were 15 bowls. In 1997, there were 20. And in 2023, there are 42 bowl games. 39 of them will be broadcast by either or by something owned by ABC, ESPN.
Disney, basically.
Disney. The other three, one, the Holiday Bowl, is broadcast by Fox. The Sun Bowl has always been on CBS, always. It used to be on Christmas Day. And then the Arizona Bowl, the Barstool Sports, that's on the CW.
The CW?
Yeah, so everything else is actually on an ABC, Disney, ESPN platform. Now.
So it's their fault.
The funniest bowl game names that didn't make it. They actually existed. They just didn't survive. Well, I'm going to start with the obvious, the Red Box Bowl. Okay. It was sponsored by different people between 2002 and 2019, but between like 17 and 19, Redbox sponsored it. And guess what? People started streaming everything.
So did away with it like Blockbuster.
You didn't have to get under that little hood at the Redbox and try to see the screen. In 1984 and 1985, there was a Cherry Bowl. I'm picturing a bowl of cherries.
Sure.
45 to 49, the Raisin Bowl. And perhaps my favorite
heard it through the grapevine
bowl name that didn't make it. 1947 to 1951, there was actually a salad bowl.
Salad bowl.
Yes.
That's very original.
Yeah, that took a lot of time for the marketing team to come up with that one. All right. I broke all the bowl games down into categories. Okay, there are obviously food, a mention of food leads the categories with 9 bowl games. There's some things that I put in this miscellaneous category because they're just whatever.
Yeah.
But the next highest was communications, I'm calling it. The National Championship by AT&T, the Cricket Celebration Bowl, Direct TV Bowl. And did you know that Wasabi Fenway Bowl is not the really hot horse?
It's not the sauce.
It's Wasabi Technologies.
Huh.
Okay, they're a communication company. Now,
Well, but what's cricket? I thought that was like a bug.
Wireless.
So cricket wireless. Okay, yeah. All right, I'm with you.
All right. Two bowls are sponsored by roofing companies. I didn't know there was such a demand. Now, anyway, so there were 4 communications. There are also 4 in the auto category. The Goodyear Cotton Bowl, the 76 Gasparilla Bowl, the Quick Lane Bowl, and the AutoZone Bowl. I'm sorry, 5, and the Valero Alamo Bowl. All right.
Yeah.
And there's also a couple in the travel category. The Verbo Fiesta, the Myrtle Beach Bowl, and the Isleta, New Mexico Bowl. That's a casino.
Yeah. Shout out to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
I'm almost done.
Right.
We are to my favorite category, the food category. Okay. I'm going to go on and tell you that the most delicious bowl game is always, in my book, going to be the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl. Now,
it's hard to beat.
Unless they put in a Japanese steakhouse bowl, that's going to always be my number 1 because Duke's makes everything better. Now,
yeah. All right.
But there are
even
some
the salad bowl.
Yeah. There's some newcomers to the food category this year. The Avocados from Mexico Bowl, which was played right down the street here from where I met yesterday, and a bunch of people from here were going to go, but they played in a downpour. The same one a guy tried to land a plane I was on in yesterday. So that was Avocados. I don't like guacamole. I don't think they have much taste. I don't like them. The Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. Did you know that Scooters Coffee is a relatively new chain of drive-through coffee places? Yep. And there are over 700 in the country right now with plans to go over 1,000 in the next year.
They're popping up like Dollar Generals.
Looking forward to having some Scooters.
Yeah.
The famous Toastery Bowl is in Charlotte.
Famous what?
Toastery.
Toastery?
Famous Toastery is a breakfast restaurant that is based in Charlotte, North Carolina. Oh. There are, I think I counted like, there's 30-ish in the country. There's 2 like in Maryland. There's 1 in Virginia. There's 2 in the Greensboro, Durham, Raleigh area. There's 1 in Boone. And the rest of them, and there's 1 at Myrtle Beach, 1 in Charleston. The rest of them are like in a 30-mile radius in Charlotte, including 1 in Lake Wiley in the Clover School District. So they picked up the tab on the Bahamas Bowl sponsorship this year.
Nice.
I don't think it'll be the famous Toastery Bowl when it goes back to the Bahamas, but it is the good food. It's good food.
All right, good deal.
All right. The Tony the Tiger Bowl, the Sun Bowl.
Okay. They're great.
They are great. But the best tasting new bowl is it's the Citrus Bowl is what it is. But it's now the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
You can't beat a Pop-Tart.
Melanie, I want you to respond on here, please. What is your favorite Pop-Tart growing up as a child?
Ooh.
You have 3 seconds.
Yeah. Well, while we wait, mine was the strawberry. No icing. You put some butter on there instead.
Butter. Well, so back in the day, there's only like three flavors. There was like a grape, a cherry, and a strawberry.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't do the brown sugar cinnamon, which is absolutely delicious until later. Yes. So my favorite as a kid was like the grape one. I just thought that was just so good. And Melanie's not with us anymore, evidently. So that is my food segment on bowl games. And
what happened to the Idaho Potato Bowl? Is that still in the thing?
Yeah, it's in there. Okay. I didn't mention it because
They don't
No,
make the
we still
list.
got the Cheez-It Bowl, the Duke's Mayonnaise, the famous Idaho, the Chick-fil-A peach, which a close second is the Chick-fil-A bowl. You can't
Chick-fil-A.
mix peach and Chick-fil-A because it's been the Peach Bowl forever. The corporate sponsors the Chick-fil-A. So Chick-fil-A is also a delicious thing, but Duke's makes Chick-fil-A even better. So that is all I have.
That's awesome. Well, Bailey, we appreciate your research. But okay, so are you taking questions now? Because I do have a question.
Questions? Yes, I'm fielding questions now.
So the history of the bowl games was awesome, but the question was, why didn't the Division I college football start? Why did they do the bowls versus playoffs? In any of the research, was there talk of we're going to do this instead of playoffs, or we should be
No,
doing playoffs?
no, because honestly, look, it's not like I went to the library. What I found out is that, like I said before, Nebraska lost their coach in 1915. He quit because they were invited to the Rose Bowl, and the administration of the school said, "We're not paying you to go to for you to go to Rose Bowl. It's too expensive." I mean, I'm thinking, how expensive can it be to fold up your helmet, put it in your back pocket, and carry a bag with your little tiny shoulder pads in it? But
Yeah.
anyway, so he quit.
Wow.
But the bottom line is, a lot of people didn't see the need for these bowls because at the end of the year, somebody would just vote on the national champion.
Well, and it was too expensive to the thought of having to travel multiple trips
Right.
just anywhere in the country
So
was
that is, I
not
would think
even
that financial reasons were the main reason that they did not
so.
have a nationwide playoff.
You heard it here first, fun fans. Money's always the reason. It was the reason there's no playoffs, and now it's the reason why it has kept us from just switching over to playoffs because the bowls are everybody's
Right.
making so much money. So very good, Bailey. I appreciate that. Good. Where's my applause? I need to find the I can find that fast enough. No. All right. So what is next on the list?
Clemson basketball lost yesterday at Memphis. Very
Oh
tough
yeah,
environment.
that's it.
Memphis super athletic. Hey, Clemson is 9-1, and
Yeah,
it would have been great to win, but you know what? Memphis was just better on their home court, and they only slightly better.
yeah, I
And
missed that one, but 2 points. I mean, and a high scoring for college.
yeah, Memphis has some really good offensive players, and Memphis. What you don't understand, Memphis had not played a home game in 29 days,
Wow,
and they were like 7-2 or 7-3. So they had been on the road playing some tough games, and they're good too. So it that loss doesn't hurt you. It just
very
doesn't
good.
hurt you.
Well, you know what else won't hurt? Some Diamond Edge products.
That's correct.
Look at there. It's good for a post Christmas
Yeah,
present.
and you need to email if you want more information. Email Jaylin Jaylin at diamondedgeproducts.com. You need to check out their high quality for everlasting custom engraved products. They can put designs on anything, and they can officially put Clemson designs on stuff because they are officially licensed partner with the university in South Carolina, Clemson.
That's right. Awesome. Well, we hope everybody enjoyed the show. We hope everyone enjoys the bowl games. We'll come back later this week on Wednesday. I've already lined up a guest that's going to give us the DL all about Jacksonville, everything anybody needs to know if you're going down there for the bowl game. And it's going to come straight from a very special guest on the show Wednesday night. And our following show after Christmas will also be somewhat of a Gator Bowl preview. So you don't want to miss that. And we're going to rerun some United Row stuff while we enjoy Christmas with our families, just like we hope you do as well. But we definitely appreciate you checking us out each and every week. Don't forget to click subscribe on the Fun Fans Podcast YouTube channel, as well as your favorite podcast platform. Please follow and share on all social medias. And on behalf of the Fun Fans Podcast, Jay Thriller Entertainment, the Fanboys Fangirls Podcast Network, and Bailey Jackson.
Hey, Mickey Mouse says hello from Orlando.
Yeah, Hello, Mickey, and go Tigers.